Mother. Sorry, let me pronounce that right. Mother is the new Darren Aronofsky movie, which is starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, and Michelle Pfeiffer, who all give really good performances in this film. And that's about the only straightforward stuff in the movie. So in order to explain my thoughts on this movie, I'm going to have to get into spoilers for this film. Overall, though, I thought the movie was fine. The first two-thirds of the movie were much stronger than the final third. For me, the final third is where it went off the rails. It's really hard for me to give Mother a definitive rating because it is so different from anything else. It's definitely worth checking out just for the experience. But at this moment right now, after thinking about the movie, I would give Mother a 68%. So getting all the generalizations out of the way, I'm going to dive into this movie, so the spoiler warning is in effect now. So quick disclaimer, I'm just judging this movie based off of its merits in performances, the story it's trying to tell, its directing, and its camera work. Its religious views don't really affect my review overall. To start off, these are my views on the movie, and this movie can be interpreted in many different ways. So with breaking down the characters, it's my opinion that Bardem is playing God, while Lawrence is playing Mother Earth. Harris's character is Adam, and Michelle Pfeiffer's character is Eve. So with that, I see the movie as just a retelling of creation, from Adam and Eve being kicked out of Eden to the story of Cain and Abel, all the way to the birth of Christ. To me, this metaphor is very heavy-handed. It really beats you over the head with it, with all the biblical references, and it's just trying to say, do you get it? See, get it? It's about the Bible. So the point of the movie that completely lost me is when Bardem's character finishes his second poem, and an endless amount of people start coming into their house and destroying it. And first off, I get the metaphor. The people just destroy the earth without taking any responsibility for it. It just got too crazy for me. It was kind of almost an assault on my eyes. But before all that, I was actually enjoying the movie. I really liked the claustrophobic feel it gave you, the unsettling feeling of the way the characters were shot, and the long, lingering shots of emptiness. It really felt like there was something that was going to happen, but never did, which Aronofsky is amazing at doing. And in the beginning, the metaphors didn't feel as forced. They felt more like suggestions, like you could take it this way, or you could take it a completely other way. There's really only one scene to me in the last third of the movie that I thought was really good, which was the scene after Mother Earth gives birth, and it's just her trying to stay awake as it cuts in between her and God, staring back at each other with just the most intense stare that, give credit to Javier Bardem, really pulls off beautifully. Nothing is said in the entire scene, but you really understand what's going through each other's heads, and you understand why they want the child. It really was a well-shot scene, and I felt the tension between those two, and I felt really unsettled watching it. Now, speaking of unsettling, the scene with the baby in the crowd felt to me like it was being shocking just to make the audience jump and squirm. It felt too overboard, with them killing the baby, then eating it, and then beating up Jennifer Lawrence's character because she started yelling at them. It really felt unjustified with it coming out of nowhere. It was just weird. It could have been dialed back a little bit. Yeah, it was just unsettling. But the biggest problem going through the whole movie was my connection with the characters. With these characters being direct references to the biblical characters, I didn't really feel invested in caring about these characters and what happens to them, because I already know nothing's going to really happen to God. He's God. And I know what happens to the biblical characters. And even with Lawrence, all I just thought is that she probably should just do something and freak out on these people. But I never really felt that I was rooting for her or really cared about what she was going through. It's not a detriment to any of the performances, it's just the way the story was told. I didn't really feel that invested in it. And the end of the movie only reinforces my view of why I didn't need to care about these characters. Because it just turns out to be a continuous loop, and that's going to happen over and over again, and God is just going to restart the cycle. So, what was the point of the entire movie? I don't know. The more and more I think about this movie, the more and more it falls apart. Like, what was the point of the story? That humans destroy the earth? They definitely went a long way around just to tell that point. It felt like a lot of filler and not much meat to the story. But I will say, I give it credit. It was an original idea. And I always support those types of movies. And it does get a good amount right with the filmmaking techniques. But this film might have been just too ambitious to put on screen.